Welcome everybody then to the men's race in this esports arena today with the Cycligent XRS Racing Series. The men are just about to get going out on course right now, but we are also live to the world, so we're going to say good morning, good evening, good afternoon to anybody out there in the world, depending on where you are viewing right now from your country out there. We're about to get going out on course for this Zwift race. We've got 10 riders all nice and lined up. Make sure to be waving at those cameras, riders, as we go through here, because as we introduce you here out on course. First up, we are going to introduce Frank Deal. Lined up, it looks like he's out here riding for this XRS. Go ahead and wave at the camera. Frank, say hi to everybody. Let's hear it in-house for Frank. Frank Deal here hammering away. We do also have then next to Frank, we do have Ben Wright. Ben Wright's going to be killing it out on course today as well. Ben, welcome to the XRS Racing Series. We also have Casey Shum, very well-known rider in the world of Zwift. The team experimental riders got a whole lot of experience in this lineup. And then, of course, right next to him, the multinational champion, Jeremiah Bishop, on the MTB, riding for Topeka Ergon. Probably one of the favorites in the house today. We'll see how things work out. Next to him, of course, you're going to know this one if you ride in Zwift at any time, Scotty Weiss, who's always running that Wednesday night ride, the Wednesday Watopia rides, all those multinational champion currently in the TT as well as in the road race. So good to see Scotty here today with us. We've got Gordon Wainsworth here as well. Good to have Gordon in the house. Everybody, let's hear it. The local boy. We hear a lot of cheering for him out in the scene today. Very cool to have Gordon. Thanks a lot for showing up. We also got Ron Gozinski now. Good to have Ron in the house. Let's hear it for Ron. Thanks for showing up and racing with us today. Next up, we got John DeLong, former pro racer out over at Virginia Tech, coaching over there. Good to have you here, John DeLong from CIS as well, riding for him. And then we do have Tyler Smith, the junior rider, local cyclocrosser and road racer, just coming off an injury last year, and I think he's ready to build up some fitness for the road season. Cyclocross season. He's going to kick that off, it looks like, here today. There will be no slow roll out today. No slow roll, boys and girls. It is going to be go, go, go from the get-go. So we're going to have a countdown, and I want to hear in-house a serious countdown coming from you here in-house to kick these boys off. So as they get going, let's go ahead and have that countdown, and it's going to be right from the gun. Everything you got, boys, make sure to hang on and don't let those gaps go. Let's hear Roanoke. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's go, 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 go! We are starting up, boys and girls, in this racing series today. The first inaugural, first ever of its kind race out on Zwift in this arena. And we've got Scotty Weiss right from the get-go, 8.4 watts per kilogram, absolutely killing it. Deal's trying to hang on to that wheel. We are back on the Richmond course for a flat, doing a few laps out on the course here. Frank Deal trying to hang on. Casey Shum now right along with Wadsworth now. Looks like Quadsworth, as he's called himself in game, it looks like. Hammering away, 7.4 watts per kilogram coming from him currently. Casey Shum right on that wheel, followed by Scotty Weiss, 7.0 watts per kilogram. Frank Deal then, 5.3. T. Smith is trying to get back on terms, but it's a 2-second gap already. 2-second gap already right now to the riders. So it's going to be a difficult day, it looks like, for Smith as well as Wright and DeLong now. Bishop now trying to get back on terms with the riders here, 6.4 watt. Wowzers, absolutely killing it. 158 beats per minute coming from Bishop, trying to hang on to DeLong's wheel there, it looks like. Shum now, 5.0, followed by Weiss, 6.8 watts per kilogram. We do see Deal, Quadsworth now in and amongst these boys. There is a lead group of 4 now, a lead group of 4 out on course. Weiss still kicking it at 6+ watts per kilogram. I know his FTP from a few of the Zwift casts as well as a couple other interviews I've heard from him is right up in that 5.6 to 5.7, so definitely into a VO2 max effort right now in this initial minute to 2 minutes out on Zwift. Now, it does look like Shum and Quadsworth are able to hang in there. Deal now, a very experienced rider out on Zwift as well, does a whole lot of Zwifting. Local cyclocrosser riding for Deschutes Brewery at 4.8 watts per kilogram, hanging in with these boys. But now Quadsworth, knowing that this is the section of course here with that 2% uphill grade, hitting some cobbles now, maybe a little bit of attack now coming from Weiss. Weiss is actually probably one of the lightest riders out here on course right now at 7.1 watts per kilogram, trying to create a gap that has been established here with these lead riders. Four of them right now, as you can see, with Shum, Weiss, Quadsworth, Hammering, Deal, and it's going to be up to Wright, Bishop, Smith, and DeLong at this point to get back on terms with that front group. So 4 off the front, DeLong, Smith, and Jeremiah now, a chase group of 4 with Wright now taking the lead at 5.2 watts per kilogram. Absolutely killer effort right now coming from these riders. It's going to be a tough day, it looks like, out here though, as Weiss, the super experienced one amongst these boys, is definitely putting it to them, as we do have the live look here now, and it looks like they're communicating even a little bit between each other. I just saw Weiss look over to his right or to his left and say a little something, maybe to Mr. Quadsworth, the Wadsworth out there, saying, hey, hold on to the wheel, we've got a gap at this point, doesn't look like anybody's going to be coming back to us. Perhaps a little bit of tactics being communicated between the riders as they're sitting right next to each other. We do have now, I think they actually saw Deal get broken off from the pack. So with that 9 seconds that Quadsworth and Shum and Weiss have over Deal, it's gonna be a difficult day for Deal now, Frank Deal, to get back on terms with this group. So they're starting their first lap in just a moment here. They actually have to come across the sprint line in order to start their lap. It's going to be 5 laps. 5 laps, boys and girls, and currently in the virtual world of Zwift right now, you can see they are doing, it looks like about 38 kilometers per hour. 38 kilometers per hour, absolutely hammering, and here's the gap right now between Deal and that lead group. He's actually almost been caught by Bishop and Wright, and now it looks like Bishop up in that 5.6 watts per kilogram. He's actually now going to have to really be one of the main poles, I think, in this chase group. Extremely strong rider, 6.4 watts per kilogram or so at this point to push, it looks like. Right here. And so now we do have, it looks like Weiss now at the front here, 6.2 watts per kilogram or so. Shum now 4.5, and Quadsworth here 6.0. And it looks like Wadsworth has been dropped off. Shum and Weiss, the most experienced Zwifters, getting away, it looks like, out on course. So let's go ahead and see if they're going to be able to hold on to this gap, though, as Wadsworth now is going to go back to that chase group. It is still only 20 seconds, and 20 seconds over that 5 laps can definitely be brought back in to the We'll have to see if that works out, though, for that chase group. They're going to have to work together really, really well out on course here to make that happen, I think. It's 15 seconds now to Quadsworth. He's holding on to a solid 6.0 watts per kilogram, it looks like. Killing it looks like, but is he going to be able to hold on? I'm not sure. Solid ride coming from him. Shum here, 4.2, 179 beats per minute. Weiss now up at the front here, 179 beats per minute now. Scotty Weiss now absolutely killing it, 324 watts, still holding on to that over threshold effort. And now Shum and Weiss have gotten away at this point, and it looks like they may be able to hold on to this, but there's going to be a large chase group, though, of some super strong men. It's going to be Wadsworth, Wright, Deal, T. Smith then, and Bishop with that sprint jersey actually out on course. They're going to be making the chase now as Bishop sits in 102 RPM, as you can see, really spinning away out on that bike there, 168 beats per minute. I think he's got quite a few more beats to work with here, and is going to be sitting in and waiting for the moment maybe to bridge up to those fast boys who are getting away, though, at this point. And watts per kilogram is king out on Zwift. When it comes to Zwift, it's definitely the way to look at the racing. It is a huge factor as to whether or not what you can hold. But Shum here now just hanging on. 182 beats per minute coming from Casey Shum. Looks like Weiss now 178 sitting in at the front here, pulling Shum along. And Shum now, one of the riders, this boy has won quite a few races, and he does a lot of our racer focuses actually for our Zwift community live streaming. So definitely something to check out. for the events that we do besides these live events. Casey Shum actually does racer focuses that you can actually watch his races for the events that are set up out on course in Zwift for all the different racing that goes on day in and day out. So Shum, a multi-time winner out on Zwift amongst the Zwift races, but now he's got world champions, national champions. He's got a whole lot of local talent to go up against right now to try and hold on to this gap. And it looks like he's going to let Weiss do a whole lot of work. Now Shum may be hearing that in the broadcast right now saying, no, I'm going to take a pull. 5.7 at the front, 176 beats per minute. I'm pretty sure that's up toward the rider's threshold. Going to be a tough day for Shum, I think, if he's going to go up against Weiss out here on course. Back to the chase group, though. It looks like here is Bishop now hammering away, 166 beats per minute. There he is sitting at 4.5 watts per kilogram steady. I heard that yesterday he went out for a 5-hour ride, boys and girls, in order to get prepped for the upcoming Cape Epic that he's going to be racing in. That is a killer ride. He did a couple of KOMs, it sounds like, yesterday on this 5-hour ride. Absolutely killing it. So he wanted to put some back-to-back efforts in before the big stage races coming up in real life, riding for Topeka Ergon. And we'll see how that's going to happen. In about a week and a half, he's going to be over in Africa, absolutely killing it. So very cool to see him showing up here and putting this training in out on Zwift to get another race effort in before that happens. But moving over to Mr. Wadsworth, we are seeing him here. He's actually just unlocked the basic kit out on course, actually, as he is a newer rider to the world of Zwift. So he's actually doing really well with the drafting. Full-on mountain biker, not one that uses the trainer a whole lot, but absolutely loving the cycling made social right now for him. Next to Frank Deal, Be Right, DeLong's there with him as well, and Bishop, all taking poles at the front, 4.9 watts per kilogram. But we know that the man Shum and Weiss, these guys are super familiar with killer efforts all day long off the front. They've raced so many times out on course. We do see them here now, 6.1, 6.0, still coming from Mr. Scotty Weiss, but up into, it looks like, actually Shum is the one taking the pole now, and up toward the front, up and over the top of that little 3% gradient. So here we go with Weiss now sitting in, 178 coming from him, absolutely killing it. Great job to him. And it looks like 178 beats per minute. Shum now 182. I know that's up into his VO2 max heart rate. So it's going to be a tough day, I think, for him to hang on. He might be really suffering at this point just to hold on to that wheel. I can actually see it on his face. We've got the live cam now coming over to the feed there. There's Casey Shum hammering away. 182, up and out of the saddle a little bit there just to hold on to the wheel of Weiss as he pumps it into that 6.0 plus watts per kilogram. But they're out to 45 seconds now. That is a huge gap, and they're only about a little ways into the first lap of 5 out here out on course. So 4.8 miles in total, 6 miles that they're going to be finishing out this lap at. So killer job for these two. 43 though, as it's being brought back in little by little, but I know Weiss for about an hour straight can hold that 5.5 or so if he throws down a real FTP effort. So it's going to be a hard day, I think, for the chasers, unless they start to chat with each other, get a little bit organized out there on course, and really start to pull in this chase at about 5.0 plus watts per kilogram, or these boys are going to be gone. We got some experienced Zwifters now walking away from the real life crowd. Let's see what these guys can do in this virtual environment to pull them back in. Let's hear for that chase group a little bit. We're looking at the Bishop crowd now, and whether or not they can bring that back in. Let's hear for them, boys and girls, here live at Roanoke at the Soaring Ridge Brewery. Come on, boys and girls, let's hear for them. They're one lap in to this 5-lap race. But it is 51 seconds, and it continues to go out. A little bit of infighting and maybe a settling for third place now at this point in that chase group. But Bishop now, it looks like, trying to instigate a little bit of a pole, 5.1 watts per kilogram, maybe being one of the stronger riders amongst that group. It's going to be difficult maybe for the other riders even to be able to pull at that kind of an effort. We do see DeLong here, 171 beats per minute, trying to hang in. We'll go ahead and give him a ride on right now. They're going to see that actually as I just gave him that ride on in game. If you look at his screen, Ngara will pop up over his head, just gave you a ride on. If you'd like to give them a ride on and encourage on your favorite racer right now, you can download the Zwift mobile link and go ahead and find that rider out on course amongst the riders and give them that ride on. Go ahead and search them, follow them out on the Zwift mobile link so you can see anytime that they start riding Zwift as well, and go ahead and ride with them if they do jump in, if you do have Zwift, you'll be able to see anytime they start riding and jump in right in with those riders as they ride around out on course. We do see now it is going to be Deal, Bishop, Quadsworth, Wright, DeLong, and Smith 1 minute back at this point from Scotty Weiss and Casey Shum. And so it looks like they're going to be starting. It looks like I believe it's going to be second lap out on course here. Shum now sitting in now. It looks like behind Weiss. It is going to be Deal now making his way to the front here, taking a little bit of pole, 5.6 watts per kilogram or so. So Ben Wright, Jeremiah Bishop there as well. I am seeing a Ninja out on course. Might have just logged in to watch the broadcast, it looks like at this point. And so fun to see other riders jumping in out on course just to watch and spectate in the world of Zwift. The coolest thing about this is we can see the real life effort as well as we have this XRS on board situation. Looks like DeLong just opened up Zip 202 Firecrest actually out on Zwift. He's actually, it looks like, a level 12 now. So a rider who's done a whole lot of riding then out on Zwift, you actually level up in the game the more that you ride. So the more you ride, the more experience you gain in game, the more things you can unlock. So we actually unlocked some faster wheels in the game just now through that experience that he was gaining throughout the ride today, actually. 171 beats per minute now, taking a pole up at the front now, but the gap's still going out to 105. So these boys now, it's going to be all about the tactics about who can take third place out on course between these riders. Now, there might be in real life, I'm so used to, just so you guys know, I'm so used to talking about how all these people from all over the world are in this massive multiplayer online game from their household or from their trainer, wherever they are, and talking about whether their calibrations are right or their weight is correct. Today, they all weighed in. Everybody stepped on a scale, and we put the weight into the game. They all calibrated. All of these trainers are calibrated within 1% to 2% of each other. The power numbers you're seeing out on course right now are real. The weight that you have on these avatars are real. They are actually putting out the power and the speeds that you would see in real life right now in this virtual environment being broadcast in front of all these hundreds of viewers actually out on Twitch right now, as well as in front of you boys and girls here at the live course right now in front of you with the arena, the Cycligent XRS arena. We got Ron here now hammering away in no man's land, about 151 back in a solo TT effort. Let's hear it for Ron, everybody. Let's give him a cheer on as he's in a solo TT effort, trying to chase everybody back down. 316 watts, absolutely killing it right now out on course, giving a wave to the crowd. Absolutely awesome to see. Getting some cheer on there from Gordon right next to him. Now we got Gordon's perspective here, hammering away 7 miles in, 300 watts, sitting at the back of the pack right on Bishop's wheel, it looks like. And it looks like 4.1 at the front coming from Mr. Wright. Then we got Scotty Weiss out the front with Shum right next to him, it looks like here. Still about 5.3 watts per kilogram or so, killing it. These boys know they got the gap, but they got to hold on to it. And a little bit more incentive probably for them to hammer away at that 5.0 plus. Here is Shum now at the front here. And now this may be a point where they might want to try and break each other from this lead group. Maybe a little bit early though at this point. They're only about onto that lap 2, so it's going to be definitely maybe up in the air as to whether or not they want to be attacking each other or work together. Riders who have definitely ridden together plenty in group rides and races out on course. Scotty Weiss and Mr. Shum, very experienced Zwifters in-house today. We do got Ben Wright here, hammering away it looks like, and from his perspective we can see 277 watts or so riding for Dire Wolf. Cat 2 racer out on the road here locally, coming from Lynchburg, Virginia. Cool to see him jumping into the arena here and hammering it out with a couple of pro racers and world champions out on the course here in Zwift. So Quadsworth now at the back, still a solid group it looks like of about, let's see, how many riders do we have here? It looks like we've got Frank Deal still in there. Jeremiah Bishop in there as well, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quadsworth though, maybe a little bit of attack or maybe just trying to stay back on terms with the group though. That 7.0 watts per kilogram. This looks like a little bit of an attack actually, maybe coming from the Wadsworth man, but nope, sitting in there. Bishop now still taking up the charge at the front of the arena today. DeLong now at the back, 4.2 watts per kilogram, 171 beats per minute, looking pretty steady at this point now. Right there is there as well, coming out of the US of A. We do got Frank Deal there. I ride for David hashtag in there as well. Bishop now 4.6, 167 beats per minute. We did see his heart rate up in that 177s. I think Bishop has settled into more of a tempo effort at this point out on course. If you guys do have any questions from the live feed, I can see you guys, the chat a little bit, so I will be able to interact with you a little bit for our viewers here and there if you got any questions at all. We do see a couple of questions about what happened for the results in the women's race, actually, and it was actually for first and second for the live arena here. We did have Kate Buss riding for Team Tipco, actually, took the win tonight in the women's race, followed by Lindsay Guerra hammering away for Vision Cycling for second place out on the Richmond's course on this flat course today. And great to see those women out there and hammering away in the International Women's Week. So what a highlight today to be throwing down in this first pilot event of the Cycligent XRS Arena today. Weiss still now, as you can see, at the front of the race. He's sitting on the Shum's wheel now. Shum actually taking a solid pull up in that 6.0 watts per kilogram, 179. I've seen this rider race so many times. I know when he's going over threshold, and this rider definitely is a threshold right around that 175, 176. So he's definitely taking a pull that's going to hurt. And we can see that live view actually of Shum here and see exactly what that pain is actually. Look at that head down for a moment there, taking that pull, making sure that he's putting out a solid effort to grow that gap, and it's already gone out to 135. Now heading into that sprint section. If you guys are wondering, what's the jersey all about in game right now? There's a jersey that Jeremiah Bishop currently has with a time of 17.20 seconds, and that is the sprint jersey in the game. If you take the fastest time through that section, you are awarded a jersey in game that you can hold on to for 1 hour from when you did that effort. And so that is what's going on with Jeremiah that you can see here right now at the live feed. We just went ahead and swapped over to that view for Jeremiah, hanging out in that sprint jersey kit. So he's holding on to that, meaning he's got that fastest time. They're about to head through it again. We'll see if one of the riders wants to try and grab a little bit of kudos right now and better that 17 seconds, or if they're going to sit in a little bit. It looks like Jeremiah now maybe a little bit of a dropout for a second there. 5.1 watts per kilogram. We'll see if he can get back in with the group there, as we do have, it looks like, Bishop now trying to kick it back in, now up and out of the saddle now. 5.2 watts per kilogram. Absolutely having to kill it to get back on terms with the riders. A little bit of an upset there for Jeremiah. We'll see if we can get the team car up to him. Now we do see DeLong here with a solid, it looks like, effort out on course, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to take that sprint jersey. It's a 17.57 for him. So right back to the rest of the riders now. We do see it is going to be Quadsworth and Deal with DeLong and Wright. T. Smith there all together right now. 4.1 watts per kilogram hanging on the back. It looks like Bishop's going to have his work cut out for him now out here today to get back on terms with the front of the race. DeLong now 4.4, Deal 3.5, Smith, Quadsworth, and we look like Weiss now has broken the lead now. It looks like it's all over for Shum, and he's going to have a heck of a day now to hold off the big boys who are trying to chase this man in that World Championship kit. As you can see, if you go ahead and push 3 in game, you can see exactly how many ride-ons he's got in his pocket, and you can see that World Championship kit currently that he's holding on to from that World Championship he won for the Masters in the individual time trial as well as the road race this past year. Current reigning champion. So solid ride from him. 5.4 watts per kilogram off the front from Shum, who's trying to chase him down 4.0 or so, but it looks like it's curtains for Shum. Now only at 4.8 watts per kilogram and still over threshold, I believe. So it's going to be a long day in the saddle and a TT effort for Shum to try and catch back, trying to hold off the chase now. And it looks like Quadsworth, Mr. Wadsworth Gordon here with a solid hanging in the pack today. Me and him did go out and hammer a little bit on his single speed earlier today out in the mountains of Roanoke. So, well, it looks like it was just a little bit of warm up for him. He's still battling out for third place today, but with 133 to catch up to that leader, Shum is killing it. And these boys are putting up about 4.1. They're going to have to really get organized if they expect to catch back up to these leaders today. I don't know what happened because it was a little bit different. Like, I need to know, like how many miles total? That's what I need to know. Thanks. So now we're looking at Wadsworth here. It looks like sitting on a little bit with DeLong. DeLong here now, 4.0 watts per kilogram with a solid effort. But now here's the real world view of Scotty Weiss. 6.4 watts per kilogram. About to kick it in to gear up that uphill gradient. Absolutely killing it. Up in that 6.2 watts per kilogram. 180 beats per minute. Weiss is off the front. It looks like he's probably going to be the winner today. Up and out of the saddle. Absolutely demolishing himself right now in order to hang on to this gap. He's 10.8, almost 11 miles in, about to finish up this lap, and we'll have one or two more to go out on course, and he's getting a little bit of a ride on there. Coming from Goldenberg, Mito Spin 2017 is that guy's hashtag out on course, it looks like. Now, we are looking through the riders here. Bishop here, 172, hanging on the right wheel. Looks like Bishop, what an effort. What an effort from Jeremiah Bishop here, 350 watts, and has closed the gap. If anybody here has ever ridden on Zwift, to close the gap to a group that's working together just like in real life is a monstrous effort. It takes such a huge effort. As you can see, that heart rate up into that 173, 174. Look at him. Resting that pedal stroke a little bit after that huge effort to get back on terms, making sure that he's hanging into the wheels there after that gigantic effort to get back on terms. Looks like he had a little bit of a flat tire there for a moment. The team car got back with him, and now he is back up to the main group. Is going to be battling out for that third, maybe second place out on course, because Casey, again, gonna have that work cut out for him, and it's only 1:27. It was almost out to 2 minutes. He's gonna have a serious effort on his hands to hold on. Looking at Casey Shum's real life effort right here, 326, 333 watts, absolutely killing it. But these boys are starting to ramp it up, and just like in real life, that peloton starts thinking about how many Ks do we got to go to close this down, and they're gonna start ramping it up at the front in order to work together to bring these boys back in and try and at least battle for that second place out on course. Shum, though, solid effort right now, being a heavier rider than Weiss out on course. Weiss, for 4.2 watts per kilogram or so, Weiss only has to hold on to about 280 watts. I know he weighs in right around 117, 118, 119, so being just raw wattage on a flat course is really going to matter a little bit for how fast they're going to be going. So Shum has been able to hold on to that gap a little bit and keep it within about 30 to 27, 30 seconds or so, but it's going out again as Weiss kicks it back into that 5.76 watts per kilogram. 28 miles per hour currently coming from Mr. Shum. Scotty Weiss now currently going at 27, both on about the same portion of the course, so looks like 1 mile per hour faster for Shum. He may be able to close this down. 1:35 back to Bailey. Now it is DeLong and the chase group out to 2:04 though. So it's going to be a serious effort to try and bring this back in for those chasers. So looking back at that group, it's still DeLong, Wadsworth, Smith, Wright, Deal, and Bishop sitting at the back here, making the smart move at 156. I bet he had to throw down some serious glycogen. That's the nitrous oxide in the body that really you can throw into that over threshold, those big watts. He had to go into a few matches to get back on terms with this crowd, closed it down to this huge group that has gotten off that is trying to chase those boys down, but now he's resting up, it looks like, and looking for that second or third place position out on course. They have closed it down to a 139, so 20 seconds closed in just the last few minutes. 18 miles total. So they will be doing a total of 18 miles, out on course today. They are currently 12.1 miles in. So they've got, it looks like, two to go out on course for Mr. Casey Shum at this point. Scotty Weiss as well, 2 to go. The other boys are just about to cross that sprint banner. As you can see just around the corner there, there's the shot from Mr. Gordon Wadsworth. And they have, it looks like about 700 meters to the finish line for the 2 to go. So if you guys look at your screens, racers, look at your screens, you can see at the top, That's about 12.2, 12.4 or so miles or so. You will be finishing at the 18-mile mark across that sprint banner. Across that sprint banner, that will be the finish point for the racers out on course. So make sure to, as you come through on these laps, start thinking about, you guys, what you're going to be doing. How's your tactic going to go when you come around that corner right there? Is that when you're going to open up your sprint? Are you going to go at that point when it's at 3% gradient and try and do the kilo to the line? What's going to be your tactic out here? What's it going to be to make this happen in this chase group to try and get that third, or even chase down Mr. Shum, who's 145 up? And now, as we're speaking about that, we see Wadsworth saying, I'm not waiting. I'm going with 2 to go, boys and girls. Absolutely killing it. Up into that 6 watts per kilogram or so. Maybe just looking for that sprint banner and trying to get the fastest time, but nope, doesn't grab a 17:20, but gets a 3-second gap. With that 3-second gap, that's going to be difficult for those boys to close down if they don't start putting out over 4.5 watts per kilogram. As you can see, Wadsworth here, 5.0, now 5.7, 6.5. He sees the gap has been created. Let's hear for the local boy. Come on now, Roanoke. Wadsworth's off the front. He's got a 1-second gap, but he's got to hold on to it. But Ben Wright now taking up the chase. Wadsworth goes again, 8 watts per kilogram into that 270 now, bringing it back down just a little bit. But will he be able to hold on to the gap? It looks like it's all over for Wadsworth. Back down to, it looks like no gap as the long. And now Wadsworth goes right to the back, actually. Can he hold on to the back of this group at this point? Maybe too much too early, as he's looking to be suffering a little bit to try and hold on to that wheel. Up and out of the saddle now to get back with the group. Looks like he's going to be comfortable though and not going anywhere at this time. Now right here at the back too, it looks like playing it smart, Mr. Ben Wright, solid for Dial Wolf Racing, playing the smart cards. Haven't seen any attacks from him so far, so maybe looking for that sprint effort at the end of the race today. Still though, your race leader, Mr. Scotty Weiss, absolutely killing it. 5.1 off the front. He's out of sight, out of mind, boys and girls, with just a lap and a half to go in this inaugural, this first ever race out in the arena, the Cycligent XRS arena, live right now. We've got 173 concurrent viewers right now. Hundreds, even thousands of people are going to be watching this race either in a VOD or live right now on the Zwift, out on Zwift right now. Virtual cycling, massive multiplayer online game. If you're new, I bet you we've got a lot of new people from the world of gaming, a lot of new people from the world of cycling that are like, what is going on in front of me right now? Zwift is a massive multiplayer online cycling game where you can ride with people from all over the world simultaneously. There's real drafting in the game. There's actual avatars that weigh what you put in. There's actual power being communicated to the game from your power meter, your smart trainer, or your speed sensor, making these avatars go at a speed just like you would in real life and interact with all of those people in the game live. So just like you see all these racers racing against each other right now live in front of you, you got that replicated in a live environment in the game with all these other people when you do log into the game in the live course. Currently we're out on a closed course on the Richmond World course, actually, in order to have an event where these riders are not going to be interfered with by any of the other riders that are in the live world currently. So absolutely great job by all of our racers right here. It still looks like a solid effort from the main chase group right now out on course, as we are looking at B right now at the back. Solid effort, 3.1 watts per kilogram. Now it looks like Wadsworth again kicking in that 5.8, 6.0. He knows this is the point on course. We're just about, it looks like 2 miles to go to that sprint banner to, we're going to say, that 1 lap to go moment. He's kicking into 5.7, 5.0, 6.0 watts per kilogram. Absolutely hammering, it looks like, to try and make a gap now. This is the only point on course that we really get any kind of uphill gradient. So 6.0, 7 watts per kilogram now coming from Wadsworth, trying to get away from this group. But it doesn't look like it's going anywhere right now. Unable to close that down, or at least get away from any of the other riders out on course. Deal now, 4.2 at the front now. Really solid effort from the cyclocross rider riding for Deschutes here, who's actually about to come into town and start supporting supporting racing actually locally at the cyclocross level. Really into cyclocross racing that team is. So it's going to be cool to see what they have to do in the Roanoke area shortly. So what's that? Frank the Tank. All right, everybody's let me know locally here that Frank Diehl's nickname is Frank the Tank. All right, everybody locally, let's hear for Frank the Tank hanging out with B. Wright, T. Smith, DeLong, and Wadsworth. What an effort from Frank the Tank, experienced Zwifter here out on course. I know he's been reinvigorated in the world of racing through Zwift. Has a couple of kids and has now been using Zwift to get that fitness going for real life racing, especially with that focus on cyclocross. So now looking here, we do have Smith now hanging on Frank the Tank's wheel now, hammering away 3.9 watts per kilogram. Almost going to be coming into this. 1 lap to go, the bell lap in just a second here. Bishop here with a killer effort at 6.1 watts per kilogram, trying to get back on terms with that front group. 7 watts per kilogram, 177 beats per minute. I have a feeling that Mr. Bishop here is just trying to create intervals for himself now at this point to try and get some serious efforts into the legs, try and make things a little bit more evened out. But Scotty Weiss, though, he's definitely leveled the playing field, though, off the front by over a minute from Casey Shum and Wadsworth. Scotty Weiss, really experienced Zwifter, uses Zwift all the way throughout the entire winter in order to get some serious efforts in and get a lot of training. Scotty Weiss was one of the first people ever to do a century in Zwift, actually, 100 miles out on Zwift. I've seen him do crazy rides, 6-7 hour rides out on that trainer, absolutely killing it. I know that he recently did an Everstein challenge out in real life and set the world record, which was recently unseated, but he's going for it again in just a few weeks. I think it is. He's going to be shooting for that, maybe a month or so. Going to be shooting for that world record again for Everstein in real life, and he's been using Zwift a little bit to get ready for that as well. He was showing me this super light Mossy here that he's on right now that he's going to be using for that effort to try and grab that world record again. So Weiss here off the front and definitely showing that not only can this boy climb, but he's out on a flat course and killing it, walking away from the rest of the field. The world champion, Scotty Weiss, making it look easy here. Well, maybe not so much easy. Look at that pain face now, up and out of the saddle. Killer effort, 179 beats per minute coming from him. But Casey Shum, Team Experimental, I talked to him prior to the race, and man, this guy is really showing what he's got. But Jeremiah Bishop out of the saddle. Look at this guy. 7 watts per kilogram or so is what he was just putting out to get back with those boys. 180 beats per minute, goes right back into that group. Man, absolutely killing it. This is one of the fastest men on a mountain bike in the world right now. Killing it for Team Topeak Ergon now out on Zwift. Let's hear it for these boys. 1 lap to go. Bell lap. Cheer 'em on. The tactics are going to start for that third place out on course today. They're going to be thinking about who's going where, what's going to happen. The jitters are going to be happening in the legs. When do I got to go? Who's going to go when? Who's going to attack? Let's see if anybody goes for it. I do see Wadsworth 1 second off the front now, actually, and he's got a little bit of a gap now brought back into the group. 5.6 watts per kilogram. He's putting up for a second there. Now sitting in again. We do see right now 3.7 or so. T. Smith is there as well. It looks like still all in. It doesn't look like anybody's going anywhere. And Frank Diehl, man, Frank the Tank, what an effort amongst this elite group of racers. Man, I've seen him racing in the B category in the races, the Kiss America races. So if you guys don't know what that is locally here, there's races that go off every single day, almost like every 20 minutes or half an hour out on Zwift in the massive multiplayer online world. And people from all over the world, from all different countries, race in these races. And so Frank the Tank has been racing in those and has taken some podiums and some good results in the B category. It was about to upgrade to the A category. The A category is anybody who can hold 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher for their FTP. Now Frank's showing maybe he belongs in that A category. He's hanging on and actually at the front of the race for the Chase group, trying to take third place here today amongst some of the best talent in North America, actually, out on course. So what a job to Frank there. Now DeLong here, 3.5 watts per kilogram. hanging in amongst the wheel now. Solid 6.8 watts per kilogram coming from Mr. Jeremiah Bishop, hanging in there as well. DeLong 3.5 it looks like, and it's still all together. Nobody's gone anywhere just yet. Looking now back over at Scotty Weiss, he's already in, it looks like, on the finishing straight, actually. This is the last flat section of the course. He's already climbed over that 3% gradient. Let's hear it for your race leader, boys and girls. Looks like he's got this one in the bag. He's going to be winning it out here today. Scotty Weiss, local, coming, absolutely great job to Scotty. Local rider, rider, very familiar with Zwift, current world champion, able to walk away with this one out on Zwift today. 178 beats per minute, showing us that pain face out on course. Now we do hear this. We hear a couple of fan favorites there for JB there, for Mr. Jeremiah Bishop, trying to cheer him on, try and win that race out there today. It's about to get into a section. We do see an attack now, though, from Jeremiah Bishop. Now he's killing it looks like, in that 7-8 watts per kilogram, getting away now. Wadsworth now knows this is a moment of truth out on course. You can see Wadsworth trying to chase it down, 9 watts per kilogram coming from Mr. Wadsworth. He gets back with him now, 6.6 watts per kilogram. It's a 2-second gap. The two pros that were in amongst that chase group are now going off the front, but now Bishop 1 second back from Wadsworth. Wadsworth now maybe going to get away from the Toe Peak Ergon rider. No, it's all back together, but he kicks again. 8 watts per kilogram. It looks like it's curtains for the rest of the riders, and the pros have gotten away at this point now, but they're going to kick it into that 3% gradient in just a second here, so we're going to see the moment of truth, I think, in a second between Jeremiah Bishop and Gordon Wadsworth out on course. Who's your favorite? Let's hear it, boys and girls, for your favorite rider out on course to take that third place between them today. Up and out of the saddle, Bishop hammering now 5.0 watts per kilogram. Wadsworth 13. Wow, absolutely killing it. Trying to get away from Bishop, but not going anywhere. It's all grouped up again. They're looking at each other, and the cat and mouse tactics are starting in the last couple of K. The last mile. They're within the last mile at this point. 0.8 miles to go out on course for that third place between Wadsworth and Bishop. Scotty Weiss from his first-person perspective now. We're looking, just going to keep it steady at this point. 118 up from Shum, not going to be caught today. Going to be your winner out on course today. Casey Shum, there's the real-life view from him. What a result for Casey Shum. Right, he's actually a time trial champion out of Illinois, actually. Does a lot of tries. Cat 4, Cat 3 time trial champion, I think it is, for that state of Illinois. So what a result from him that pays off to be experienced out on Zwift and know the race. He went with Weiss and got pulled along by the world champion and is going to be taking that second place out on course. Nice job to Scotty Weiss. We just heard the crowd cheering him on, just crossing the finish line. What an amazing job to Scotty. Takes the win, arms in the air there as he crosses the line. Solid effort from Mr. Weiss. Great job to Scotty. Casey Shum now just about to cross. It looks like come around that corner and cross the line here in just a moment. Great job to Mr. Shum. As we're looking through here, we do see him now taking that last. It looks like 300 meters to go or so. It looks like Wadsworth, though, and Bishop about 158 back. It's going to be a battle all the way to the line. We do see Bishop kicking it one more time. Now we're going to get a little bit of a show from Shum, though, as he's going to kick it one more time. 8 watts per kilogram coming from Shum. Thank you so much for that little bit of a show there, Casey. Up and out of the saddle, absolutely killing it all the way to the line. 190 beats per minute is what we're seeing there, boys and girls. But now Wadsworth is going. This is the battle, boys and girls, between the pro riders. Let's hear it for them. Absolutely going. Wadsworth has got the gap into that 3, 4, 5 seconds. Looks like it's all over. Wadsworth is going to be taking it looks like. Maybe. No. It's still a ways to go to the line. Did he do too much too early? 3 seconds is the gap at this point. 4.8 watts per kilogram. It looks like Bishop now keeps him within his sights. It's only 2 seconds. Wadsworth went way early now, and he's not going to be able to hold the gap, it looks like. Now again, he punches it. 10 watts per kilogram. He sees that Bishop's trying to get that wheel. Is he going to be able to get that wheel? I'm not sure it's going to happen as Wadsworth kicks it again, but he's got the wheel again, boys and girls. Jeremiah Bishop playing it smart, not letting it go too early. They're within the last 400 meters. Let's hear it. Roanoke. This is it for third place. Jeremiah Bishop, Wadsworth to the line. Who's going to take it? They're coming to the line. They can see on their point of view how many seconds they've got. It's within 10 seconds to the line. Wadsworth, 9 watts per kilogram. And now Bishop trying to go and come around, but will he be able to do it? And it looks like it's going to be Gordon. Wadsworth takes it from Bishop to the line. Nice race, boys and girls. Let's hear from them. Then right behind, it's going to be Smith, followed by DeLong. What a battle. Oh my goodness, for 5th place out on course right now. The next one across the line, followed by Frank Deal riding for Deschutes Racing. What a race, boys and girls. Your first ever XRS Cycligent Arena right here live coming out of Roanoke. What an amazing event. What a show by all these boys. Great job to the riders here today. So as far as the results go then, boys and girls, it was Scotty Weiss with the win. Awesome job to Scotty, your current reigning individual time trial and also road race Masters World Champion. Absolutely killer job to him. Let's go ahead and get the shot to him if he cools down here out on course. Looks like he walked away to get an interview there, actually. Absolutely great job to him. Casey Shum from Team Experimental. What a ride. Great job to Casey Shum. Hands in the air. Let's give a wave to the crowd there. Casey, nice job, Casey Shum. Wadsworth then for 3rd place out on course. Great job to Gordon Wadsworth, sprinting it up with Mr. Jeremiah Bishop there. Great job to Gordon. Nice job, Gordon. Thanks a lot for racing with us today. Jeremiah Bishop with the 4th place. Solid ride there from the Toy Peak Ergon, riding 5 hours yesterday and looking for a little bit of extra effort today. Great job to Jeremiah. Thanks a lot, Jeremiah, for your solid effort and showing up here today to the course along there. Great job to him as well. And then Ron here finished it up. Let's hear him out there for that TT solo effort with Ron. Still finishing up out on course, showing up for the arena, throwing everything down that he can. 250 watts solid there coming from him still. Great job to all the riders. Solid effort. If you're watching live out on Twitch right now, we'll be right back with an interview with the winners as well as our awards presentations. Make sure to stick around for those interviews and awards presentation coming right on up.